Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a subject that is quite literally staring us right in the face every single time we look at a globe. Now, you probably remember from your school days that nearly 3/4 of Earth's surface is covered with water, right? But today, we aren't talking about all the world's oceans combined. We're going to focus on just one. And by the time we wrap up this explainer, the sheer, mind-boggling scale of the Pacific Ocean is going to completely change the way you view our home planet.
Okay, let's dive into this. We all know the Pacific is large, sure, but our human brains actually kind of struggle to comprehend true massive geographical scale. We hear the word ocean and we naturally picture a vast expanse of water. But the Pacific? It completely defies standard definitions. It's not just a body of water, it is a geographical titan that literally dwarfs continents. So how do we even begin to wrap our heads around its true size? Well, let's start with a little thought experiment.
Section 1. Measuring the unmeasurable. Digging straight through the Earth.
To really gauge this ocean's largeness, we have to look at something called antipodes, which are diametrically opposite spots on the Earth's surface. Think of it like drawing a straight line directly through the center of the Earth from one side to the exact opposite. Now, the Pacific Ocean is so incomprehensibly massive that if you somehow created a hole in the ocean bottom somewhere between Peru and Chile, and you dug that hole straight down, right through the fiery core of the Earth, your exit point on the completely opposite side of the globe would still be in the Pacific Ocean, right near Vietnam and Taiwan. I mean, it is so big, it is literally opposite itself. Crazy, right?
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point of measurement. If you were in an aircraft, you would need to travel 40,000 kilometers to encircle the entire globe and reach your starting spot. That is the Earth's total circumference. Well, the longest single stretch of the Pacific Ocean, stretching from Indonesia all the way across to Colombia, is exactly 20,000 kilometers. Let that sink in. That means this single continuous stretch of water spans exactly half of our entire planet.
To help visualize exactly how wide that 20,000 kilometer stretch between Indonesia and Colombia really is, consider this. You wouldn't just fit one moon inside this expanse. No way. You could line up 5 entire moons, side by side, straight across this stretch of the Pacific, and you would still have a lot of open space left over. It's absolutely staggering.
Section 2. The view from space. Zooming out to grasp the true scale.
Actually seeing the Pacific Ocean in its entirety all at once, that is an impossible task from the surface, or even from a standard orbit. Let's walk through this step by step. Step 1. Because the Earth is curved, a 6-foot-tall person standing on a boat can only see about 5 kilometers out before the sky and the ocean touch. Step 2. If you climb way higher, say in an aircraft flying at the height of Mount Everest, you can still only see 370 kilometers of the ocean. Step 3. Let's go to space. The International Space Station orbits 400 kilometers away, and even from up there, astronauts cannot see the whole Pacific. So step 4, we have to turn to Google Earth and zoom out 10,000 times, placing our virtual camera 63,000 kilometers away over Bora Bora. And even from that absolute extreme vantage point, looking at this side of the globe, you see 95% ocean and only 5% land.
Moving on to Section 3. Bigger than a planet. Putting 165 million square kilometers into perspective.
Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is how it ranks these massive entities. The combined area of all the land on Earth, every single mountain, forest, and desert, totals 140 million square kilometers. Then, we have the entire surface area of the planet Mars at 148 million square kilometers. And towering over both of them is the Pacific Ocean alone, sitting at a staggering 165.2 million square kilometers. The ocean's area absolutely dwarfs every landmass on our planet, and it actually outmeasures our neighboring planetary body.
To put those numbers into a real-world scenario, the Pacific's gigantic area means it can comfortably contain the whole of North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, and Greenland combined. Literally all the land on Earth just fits inside it. And get this, even after you dump every single continent into the Pacific, you'd still have enough empty space left over to fit 8 extra countries the exact size of India. And going back to our Mars comparison for a second, if we could somehow take the waters of the Pacific Ocean and compare it directly against Mars, the entire red planet, complete with all of its massive craters and towering alien mountains, would get completely submerged hundreds of feet below the water's surface. We are truly talking about a geographical feature that is bigger than an entire planet. So, we've looked at the vast surface. Now let's shift gears and look downward. Section 4. Into the deepest depths. Plunging down 11 kilometers.
That 11 kilometers represents the sheer depth of the Challenger Deep Trench. You see, the Pacific isn't just remarkably expansive on its surface, it holds the darkest, deepest geological secrets on Earth. At 11 kilometers straight down from the sea surface, Challenger Deep remains the deepest known point on our entire planet.
But Challenger Deep is far from alone down there. The Pacific floor is deeply scarred with massive plunging canyons. The Tonga Trench, the Philippine Trench, and the Kuro-Kamchatka Trench are three other massive abysses in this ocean that also plunge to depths greater than 10 kilometers.
Which brings us to Section 5, a restless, shrinking giant, the violent reality beneath the sea.
Did you know the word Pacific actually translates to a peaceful sea? Yeah, it was named by the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan 509 years ago when he sailed across it. But there's a massive, incredibly ironic juxtaposition between this calming historical name and the restless, violent geology that's actually lurking right beneath those seemingly peaceful waves.
Here's something wild. While the Atlantic Ocean is slowly increasing in size, the Pacific Ocean is actually shrinking and sinking every single year. Why is that? Well, it's because of the intense movement of underwater tectonic plates. The Pacific sits right on top of a highly active tectonic region. These grinding, shifting plates are the primary reason why most of the world's earthquakes and tsunamis occur in this basin. It's a highly violent underwater environment that is quite literally slowly consuming itself.
So the crucial point is, this ocean floor is essentially a ring of fire. Just think about this number, 75,000. That is the astounding number of active volcanoes currently present at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. It is just a staggering amount of geothermal violence hidden completely under the water, and the biggest of them all? It's known as the Havre Seamount, which sits hidden right near New Zealand.
And let me hit you with one more massive number as we wrap up our exploration today. 25,000. The Pacific tops the global charts by far when it comes to the number of islands it contains. It boasts over 25,000 individual islands, scattered all across its unbelievable expanse.
And that leaves us with a lingering thought. Thousands of these 25,000 islands remain completely out of human reach. It can take dedicated searchers well over a month just to locate some of them using satellite imagery on Google Earth. The Pacific is truly a world unto itself. So, with thousands of undiscovered islands and 75,000 underwater volcanoes sitting in an ocean that's physically bigger than Mars, what else is hidden out there in the deep, just waiting to be discovered? Thank you for joining me on The Explainer today. Stay curious, keep learning, and I'll see you for our next deep dive.